Hi guys, at the Hamfest up here in Newark 2019. I'm with Chris Taylor from Moonraker. Hi Chris.
Morning Martin, I hope you're having a good show.
We're ducking and diving as always and having a good show. I've known Chris probably the best part of 20 years. We worked together at one point in time. But you've got some new products to show me today, haven't you?
Certainly have, yep. We've got a couple of new products. We've got a new radio, the AnyTone 578, and we've got a new product unique to the amateur market called ROLATUBE. All the details are on our website, and if I show you very quickly, this here is a 7-metre mast, and it just very lightweight. And if I put it up, there you go, that's 7 metres, and it's a solid fiberglass mast. If you guy it down, it will take a 5k head load, so you can put wires on it, cameras, and what have you. And we do in various versions. For a complete kit, you're looking at about £700 upwards, but it's the sort of thing you'll still be using in 20 or 30 years' time. And if a club buy it as a portable aerial, great for field days and what have you. The 7-metre is the longest one that's practical, so you've got to think that when you put in HF aerials up, and away you go.
The thing I like about it, Chris, is that, yeah, it's extremely portable. Probably a bit too heavy for SOTA, but for an emergency, the Rainet people, for commercial usage as well. This is not just a product for amateur radio. I can see a lot of potential from commercial.
Yeah, absolutely. However, the 5-metre kit is specifically made for lightweight operation, and that's a slightly lighter duty one, and that will all fit in a rucksack. So that's the mast, the guy ropes, and the base plate, so everything you need to put it up will go in your rucksack. So if you've got that and an 817 and a bit of ingenuity, you can cover all bands HF up to 2 metres. So yeah, so that's quite a good option, and that's the one that's about 700 quid.
That sounds interesting. And you got a nice bright colour one. Is that just for show, or are they all going to be a bright orange?
So it notices and so it matches your T-shirt, so you come and have a look at it. But the stock colours are orange, blue, black and camouflage. The reason the orange one is it's popular for airfields for putting up a temporary installation, and obviously if a helicopter's coming in, it needs to be aware it's there, so it's highly visible and things like that. So that's why it's that colour, or that option.
Right. Well, I did think it was our shirts you were trying to match, but that's good fun. Okay. So that's great. It looks an interesting piece of kit. Now, your new radio. Yeah, what's the functionality on your new radio? What extra functionality have you got?
Well, first of all, it's a Dual Band DMR radio, and I know there are other ones of those around, but this one's got unique features. It's got real Bluetooth, and by that, I've got a transit van for the show. I just plugged it in the car lighter, paired it, and I was talking total hands-free. The PTT is Bluetooth as well, but that doesn't connect to the system, that connects to the radio. So you've got a PTT button on your steering wheel or your gear stick, you touch it, goes into transmit, you touch it again, it goes back to receive. So it's the first ever ham radio solution for hands-free. And it does 50 watts 2 and 70, it does DMR, it does crossband repeat. It'll do analog to DMR, DMR to DMR, and DMR to analog. So perfect for organisations like Rainet and what have you. And it's got a few other features which at the moment they haven't released, but there's a remote display that will come out next year, which is a Bluetooth display. You just put it on the dashboard and it mimics the display of the radio, so you can see what's going on. So that we've got, the first sample arrived on Thursday even, so I bought it yesterday, and officially it launches today. We should have deliveries by the end of October, so come and have a look and what have you. And of course it's fully programmed. We do a unique item on all the DMR radios. When you buy it, we program it with your call sign and every analog and DMR repeater in the country, even the handhelds, and in fact we're releasing a new code plug today. So if you've got an AnyTone radio, come to the stand and we program it free of charge. Simple as that. But yeah, so that's a very exciting product. And the good news is it's 350 quid, including all the Bluetooth. Now if you look at the other manufacturers, their Bluetooth's an option, and you don't see a lot of change out at 200 quid, and it doesn't work with a car. It only works with their proprietary headsets. So yeah, so it can be very popular.
Yeah, I think so. Because I must admit, I've also gone back to playing with DMR. I did DMR in the commercial industry, and I started looking again at DMR and co-plugs for Motorola's not so long ago. And there's a lot you can do with DMR. I mean, and equally, it's not just DMR because of the gateways now, like CQ UK, that you can DMR through. And I've had contacts with people on DMR. I'm on running DMR and they're running Fusion through the gateway. So there's a lot you can do.
Yeah, absolutely. The cross-moding. There are two networks really. One of them is the what I call proper conventional DMR network. So you got in the UK Brandmeister, Phoenix, Southwest Cluster, the Northern Cluster, and things like that. But you've also got a whole new network of hotspotters, and these are people that have bought a hotspot, whether it's a jumbo spot or a Zum spot or whatever, connected it to their internet or their mobile, and they're running from home with a repeater effectively in their front room, and that market is huge. And Radcom just recently done a review of the 878, and since that we've been inundated with people that have discovered this new world that we can't all get big aerials up. If you can get a hotspot indoors with DMR or Fusion or D-Star, the world's your oyster. It's great. So yeah.
Certainly is, and I must admit I've got a hotspot now as well, and I've joined the Cyprus net a few times because I know the boys out in Cyprus and I enjoy their company. So it's a way of getting on a net the other side of the world that you'd never be able to do in the old days.
Absolutely, yeah, indeed, yeah, it's good. Yeah. So yeah, we've got all those today on the stand. So yeah, come and have a chat to us and be great.
Yeah, sounds good. Now the last thing we're really going to talk about today is you guys are big into retail of network radio. Now I don't care what people think, I still think network radio is a good product and has its place in the market and something we should embrace because it is RF regardless of what people think, isn't it, Chris?
Well, it is. I mean, at the end of the day, radio amateurs love to talk, and you know, whether it be you go to the radio club, people sit and talk. You go on the radio, people sit and talk. But there will come a time in your life when you end up in a flat or a care home or whatever it might be, you can't have aerials, and they're not frightened of RF, but it does panic some people. And my mum was in a care home, and I remember going in there to see her one day, and I had a walkie-talkie, and they said to me before I came through the door, turn it off. And just because they're frightened because it's radio. So when you look at the network radio, the reason it really exploded in the marketplace was, number one, you could talk to people all over the country and didn't cost a lot. Most people were running it on their phones, which they got unused data anyway. And the other thing is the ease of operation. Again, it's Bluetooth, it connects to your car, so there's no aerials needed on the car, so if you've got a company car, you can keep in touch. The other markets that are using it, we sell commercially probably 200 or 300 units a month to taxi companies, farmers, hauliers and what have you, and they all use network radio, and if they've got cellular coverage, then they're on the network radio. So that means a truck driver that's going to Sweden to do a delivery can be in touch with base all the way across Europe without any cost to their employer. So yeah, that's why it's taking off really.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, in the old days when you had the trunked mobile system, it used to cost people an absolute fortune and they couldn't be across Europe, so it's good.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so, you know, whether it be a handheld you want or a radio in the car, it might not be everybody's cup of tea, but for a lot of people, it's their, I suppose, almost modern day CB. I get, yesterday we had visitors from the radio network people, and they all camped out, about 20 of them last night. Hopefully they stayed dry. And they got together the same as we do, and they all meet up, and I hear them in the shop, we have them on sometimes. They're on every morning, chatting about everyday life. And amateur radio isn't for them, but network radio is. And so it might, as I say, might not be everybody's cup of tea, but some people it's become as important to them as amateur radio is to me or to you or what have you. And amateur radio for me is about communications. and I just look at it like a screwdriver for a carpenter. It's just another tool in the communications toolbox. And ICOM have released a commercial network radio, and if you look at their PTT system, they're all over the country. You go into big supermarkets, they're using the ICOMs and what have you, and it's just got a SIM in it, and that's it, it works. And we all know cellular's everywhere, so yeah, network radio is great, and I'm glad that we've been in it from the birth of it in the UK.
Yeah, I agree with you. So that's a good one, and at least it gets people involved. Just finishing up here, give our listeners where they'll find you, website and that sort of thing, Chris.
Okay, the website's moonraker.eu, and if you go on there, it'll tell you all the brands we do and everything. And just if you hope you don't mind me mentioning, we're now official MFJ UK distributors, and that's why we've got an MFJ stand opposite our stand. It's a Moonraker MFJ stand. We think that that one product is worthy of its own stand, because there's not a radio amateur in the world that doesn't know what MFJ is. So.
Yeah, and for those of us, and I know you have, but for those who have met Martin Dew, lovely gentleman. He's a real nice gent, isn't he?
Absolutely, he's really passionate. And if someone says an idea for a product, before he says another word, he writes it down on a bit of paper and he sticks it on his office wall, and that will become a product. And if you can think of something you want to do in amateur radio, if MFJ aren't doing it, they're going to do it. Simple as that.
Yeah. Well, listen, Chris, the show's about to open. I'm going to say thank you very much for your time, and have a good show.
Thanks very much, and thanks for stopping by. And,
cheers.
I'll get my sunglasses off now to take the glare off your shirt. Cheers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, cheers.